about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are? Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
Good morning and welcome to Open Conversation on Atlantic Television Network. Open Conversation is a network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impact to the society. Today on Open Conversation, we look at Rivers State, developing stories. Assembly gives Fubara 7 days to represent 2024 budget. Court restrains Chief Justice Clark from dealing with Amehule orders. And then on to Ondo State, ODEC postpones local government polls indefinitely. On Kano State, NNPP rejects Yusuf's suspension, Kwakwanso's expulsion. On National Assembly considers death penalty for vandals of national assets. And on corruption, EFCC places Bello on Interpol watch list. We are open for advert placements, bookings, and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the taunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly. Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the temple of God.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on the show this morning is Asim Adams, ESQ. Asim Adams is a legal practitioner, human rights advocate, convener, Lawyers Without Borders. Good morning, Assumes.
Good morning, Choma. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Okay.
And I also have with me Dr. Emmanuel Irayanama, a management consultant and social.
Good morning, viewers.
And on to the story. River State House of Assembly, led by Martin Amehule, has handed a 7-day ultimatum to Governor Simlaye Fubara. Ehe and others loyal to Fubara had deliberated on the bill, passed the budget, and was subsequently signed into law by the governor. However, on Monday, Amehule, who presided over the plenary, issued the ultimatum following a resolution of the House during Monday's plenary. Let me start with you, Dr. Emmanuel. What is your immediate reaction to this development?
Still funny. And I keep saying it's funny because people are merely seeking for relevance. It's a pity that we have a country where judgments are supposedly purchased in the night and announced in the morning, and for whatever reasons there they are. Very funny as they were. It's also a pity that we have a society that has cause to misinterpret even some of those funny judgments when they come the way it suits them. And that's people for you. Amehule and his brothers know very well that they are drowning, and they will drown in the long run. And there's no truth about it. And I keep saying this. See, God has a way of telling people how foolish they are without them knowing that they are fools. What is happening in River State is something that ordinarily shouldn't have even happened in the first instance. You had power and you got intoxicated. You thought you've reached heaven. And so in the exercise of that power, you run amok, as it were. And you think that you could just turn back and become who you were before. You can never get to where you were before. Get to heaven and come back. A judgment was issued last Monday. What the judgment is actually talking about is actually an issue of jurisdiction. I'm aware that the other group had others actually gone on appeal of that same judgment. Because for me, that judgment is very funny. The issue of the Federal High Court having exclusive jurisdiction is an issue that has not, and that's one of the biggest problems we have in this country, where laws are made with an intendment perhaps to remove an existing law and not doing the needful, as it were. Assembly matters hitherto were rights of state high courts, and only but not too long was the federal high courts brought into it. But the part where it said that the federal state high courts had the right has not been expunged. It is my strong opinion that the appeal court erred. What that judgment has just done doesn't give anybody victory in the real sense of the word. One is that it gave opportunity for the others to go on appeal. Two, the fact that they can actually still go back to a federal high court. Two clean positions were clear. So rushing to wanting to, well, after a judgment, I also expect that people who claim that they won a case will show some level of, we've arrived. And that's what that's even the
reason of the...
It is only you that have to go to court to say, no, I left because of this. It's you that have left. The question is very clear on it. It doesn't even require a court to pronounce you non-member again. It doesn't. As soon as the speaker pronounces you,
Constitution,
that as soon as you so say,
hold on, according to the Constitution,
yes,
according to your interpretation, once a legislator in the
people now said, well, we no find your trouble, you can't touch our tail, because before Kojomo went to court, there was semblance of why these people were doing whatever they were doing. People were saying, don't worry, we'll let the judgment come from Abuja. They didn't go to protest and disrupt your proceedings in the sitting in the House of Assembly. Why did you go to court, Mr. Okojobo Speaker? Now the people exercising their rights. Now said, well, you don't open flag, now let us use it. They now went to court of appeal. And the appeal court ruled, if you go through that judgment, I have it, I can forward to you. It's a 92-page judgment. And the justices were so bitter and they were looking at it. And they said, okay, why are you coming to meet us? You know, these things that, I don't know where you are coming from. Anyway, no problem. Nobody disturb you. No. They didn't block your sitting in the government house. Why did you rush to that court? Anyway, let us tell you, this particular court has no jurisdiction. The court did not even raise issue of jurisdiction, even though the court can. It was in defense by the 27 lawmakers. Then I said, well, since Okojombo went to court, the court lacked jurisdiction. That was how the court of appeal had to tidy and decide issue of jurisdiction. And the court now said, in the first instance, based on the argument that you don't have jurisdiction. And when jurisdiction comes to a matter like that in the first instance for lawyers, the court must look at jurisdiction. Even if it is not raised, maybe I forget to raise jurisdiction, the court can on its own raise issue of jurisdiction to say, are you sure I have jurisdiction to handle this matter? So Court of Appeal now said, no, you don't have jurisdiction. They are even wondering what kind of practice we do today as lawyers. If my colleague here comes to give me a case now to handle for him, three main things I'm going to first of all look at is number one, issue of jurisdiction. Where will I file his case? The two, I look at parties. I will look at parties. Then I'll know the third one will be the course of action. Why am I even going to this court? Assuming is it did Okojombo's lawyer not go through all this to find out? Now the court now said they lack jurisdiction. And in that particular they did not quote section 272, sub 3. That is very, very clear. He said, insofar as blah blah blah, in case of vacation of seat of the House of, it was mentioned the House of Assembly members, issues related to vacation, issue pertaining to removal of governor, etc. as case may be, amongst others, the Federal High Court has exclusive jurisdiction. It is stated here. And in law, when the Constitution, any statute says this television has exclusive jurisdiction, you cannot impute jurisdiction outside of it. That is what now happened. Then the other issue that came up, raised by the defense, said, okay, we didn't disturb this Mr. Okojombo. Even this ex-party order that, assuming you have jurisdiction, or you take the substantive matter, Abi Oga, Mr. George, you don't want to make this matter end. You don't want this matter to, this is a constitutional matter that you can even give judgment on within 2 days. Even no need to argue. You put judgment, you deliver. Is it issue of speakership or whatever? Even my little child, 18-year-old boy in school, he knows the politician. So he shot himself on the foot. What the legitimacy that the people are saying they didn't have, the Court of Appeal now, by virtue of the case started by us, as it stands now with this judgment, the governor or anybody, they are hanging until that appeal comes from Supreme Court. So Okojombo even helped them. Maybe some people working in tandem with them as a devil's advocate. He's here. Mama Put, we have seen them. In Port Harcourt, at Tombia Road, you see they go and the big flags they used to. I said, oh boy, not be the person that say they quarrel with this. I said, are you sure? We want snap and now they're wrong.